You see a giant coming for you and you panic. What now? How to deal with the threat? In this video, we will go beyond Polytopia strategies to explain ways to counter those strategies. Find out how to deal with the most common metas, including giants, riders and roads, archer firing squads, knights, and more. Watch and learn how to take your Polytopia tactics to the next level. Okay, let's learn about Polytopia counter strategies. Let's start with the biggest threat in the game, giants. There are three main ways to deal with them: ranged units, your own giants, or unit spam. The most effective way to take them down is with ranged units, either archers or catapults. Giants are slow, especially if they're not on roads. A few archers over a few turns, or a couple hits from a catapult will do enough damage to weaken or kill them. In this example, we also see daggers helping take down a giant. In many ways, daggers are like ranged units because they do not take retaliation damage. Another classic counter strategy to giants is getting your own giant. Remember, giants do not have dash, so they cannot move and attack on the same turn. Try not to move your giant right next to another giant, because when two giants face off, the attacking giant deals more damage than what the other returns in retaliation. However, with a defense bonus, the attack and retaliation numbers are equal. And although it works, throwing a bunch of squishy units at a giant is not cost effective. As a last resort, you can send 10 riders, warriors, or some combination like that to finish off a giant. Oh, and there is one other way. Convert with a mindbender. It's very effective and fun, but hard to pull off. That's because mindbenders also do not have dash. But you can pop a giant to push a mindbender forward to convert. It's so satisfying, but very situational. If you have other ways to deal with giants, let us know in the comments. Riders and roads are one of the dominant metas for Polytopia. So how to stop them? Having a defense bonus on mountains or forests can present a difficult dilemma for your rider roads opponent. Killing a unit with a defense bonus takes more units and may not be worth the exchange. Even better, throw 50% more hit points into the mix with defenders. These cheap friends can soak up 4 hits from riders or 5 with a defense bonus. Giants are another great way to make riders less useful. But sometimes you have to fight fire with fire. One way to beat an opponent's rider roads is to make your own. With efficient road placement and keeping your riders on roads, you'll be trading with the enemy like a pro. Next, let's talk about how to deal with ranged units like archers and catapults. Archers are one of the best units in the game. Hitting from a distance and not taking retaliation is a great tactic. Also, a line of archers placed outside a city is a great way to shut down unit production. Any unit that city makes dies under a rain of arrows. A great way to take down those archers is riders, especially if you have roads. Riders move in, hit, and escape back out of range. An even better counter to archers is a knight. If you can get your knight in the fog out of their vision, even better. This is a perfect setup for a knight to plow through. The same counter strategies hold true against catapults. Use ranged units like riders or knights to take down exposed catapults. So, what about knights? Sure, knights are fun for killing multiple weak units in a row, but when you're on the receiving end of a knight, it's not so great. If you are lucky enough to have vision and see the knight coming, you can prepare in a few ways. First, you can space out your units. By creating gaps between your weaker units, you prevent the knight from chaining. Second, you can put units with more defense in front, like defenders, swords, or giants. Putting warriors on a defense bonus tile like a mountain also works to slow a knight down and prevent chains. A final option is to create a dilemma for the knight. By forcing the knight to choose between targets or costly options, you limit how much damage it can do. Here, the Zabasi knight decides to plow through Barder allies in this team game. Next, let's talk about a few ways to counter cloaks and daggers. One way to avoid cloaks is to not have any really big cities, but that's not a great tactic because big cities give you income. You can also try to find and hit cloaks before they attack. Attacking a cloak reveals it and prevents it from attacking that turn. Some call this cloak sweeping in a reference to Minesweeper because you can use that little eye icon to deduce the possible spots where a cloak might be. Another way to prevent a cloak from hitting your city is to surround the city with units. If the cloak can't reach the city, it can't attack it. Finally, if you cannot stop the cloak from hitting your city, the next best thing is to kill all the daggers. You can do this with other kinds of units, but you need a lot of them, or a knight is a great way to clean out a bunch of daggers at once. When we talk about counter strategies, naval units are a special case. They are more about balancing your navy to meet your needs. On the water, you often need a bit of everything to fight effectively. Scouts can safely take down a rammer from a distance. A rammer warrior can one-shot a warrior scout. And bombers can sink pretty much everything, but only from a safe distance. Bombers are strong and weak at the same time. Juggernauts are obviously a lot like giants, slow and tanky. They're useful on the front lines to attack, but vulnerable since they're stiff and do not take retaliation damage. Generally, you want your rammers and juggernauts in front and scouts and bombers in the back. If a scout attacks first, you can avoid retaliation damage and soften up enemy rammers for killing with your own rammer. Last but not least, let's not forget about the humble raft. Even though the raft itself cannot do much, it bears the threat of upgrading into a different ship and attacking immediately. For example, here's a raft within a player's borders. It can be upgraded to a bomber and attack on the same turn. This forces the enemy to treat the raft as a potential bomber, even if they haven't upgraded it yet. Looking at the big picture, mobile units are effective against ranged units. Ranged units are good against tanky units, and tanky units are good against mobile units. Taking it a step farther, cloaks are good to hit big cities with daggers attacking giants, and mobile units can detect cloaks. Ranged and mobile units can deal with daggers. In specific situations, mindbenders can convert giants, but mindbenders are easy to counter with archers or riders. Naval units have a similar set of strengths and weaknesses, but in this case, it's more about balancing your navy to suit the situation. Okay, there's just some examples of the most common counter strategies in Polytopia. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, it helps us a lot. Join our Discord. Come play Polytopia with us. A link to the Discord server is in the description. Take care. See you on the next one.